All right, we're live. We are live. Well, welcome
Hello,
every.
all.
Oh yeah, you start it. You're good.
Welcome back to another Two Drunk Guys in a Football live stream. I am your co host, Marcus the Hammer Mary.
And I am Skinny Domestic. Today we'll be doing our first mock draft of the season for the NFL draft. Of course, that's happening in I think what 3 weeks from tomorrow. So
Hmm.
we have not been on top of our game, unfortunately. I think last year we were doing mocks in way back in March. We've just been busy. All right, life is busy. So we're gonna be dishing out more mocks and stuff over the next 3 weeks. Have a what do you call it? Have an actual podcast episode before the draft. This mock, we're not gonna do any trades, and Marcus and I are gonna take turns. Um,
We're going to go every other.
go every other, which Marcus has the first pick, just like the Tennessee Titans. So we'll just break down a little bit, and then kind of just go from there. So Marcus, why don't you
Do the first overall pick.
Yeah, first overall pick. Who are the Tennessee Titans taking?
Obviously, the best quarterback prospect in the draft. They're going to take the quarterback of the future, Cam Ward. Going to be the first quarterback to go from 0 starts to the first overall pick in the NFL.
Yeah, I think Cam Ward's by far the best quarterback, so it's hard not to take him. Especially with Tennessee having
Yeah.
those struggles, build get somebody to actually build around. So for the Browns, they could go a lot of ways here. They need quarterback, offensive line, edge, running back, safety. Get a running back in the second, third round. You can wait on a quarterback too. I think. I don't think you draft Sanders here. Um, so what you do is you go and get Edge, the guy that's going to be opposite of Miles Garrett for the next 4 years, and have a freakish front two with that. And they're going to take a. Actually, no, fuck. No, we're not doing Abdul Carter. As much as I want that to happen, they're going to go. No, we're going to do Abdul Carter for the first one, even though I don't think this happens. But I want that to happen. Imagine Miles Garrett and Abdul Carter. Good luck.
Yeah, that'd be insane. Yeah, it'll be interesting. The Browns, I mean, with the way the quarterbacks are, I feel like there could be a lot of decent quarterbacks in the second round and even some developmental players too that you could, people like Will Howard and stuff like that might be sitting there. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I mean, you can't go wrong with Abdul Carter. He is a stone cold freak and maybe the top three best player in the whole draft. So
Yeah.
with that being said, though, the New York Giants are going to take the best player in the whole draft and draft Travis Hunter, the two-way player. He was. I just watching a short of him saying that he's going to have Roger Goodell say that he wants him to say cornerback slash wide receiver and not say athlete. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know how he do. I feel like he'll probably be a DB, even though my whole everything wants him to be a wide receiver in the NFL for fantasy. But I am in a dynasty league with him or with defensive players. So I have the first overall pick. I will be drafting first overall. You heard it here first. So
Smart, because he's gonna. There's no way that he's not gonna get thrown in on that offense too.
oh yeah,
It's gonna
he'll probably
happen.
play like 15 snaps a game
Yeah,
on offense.
he'll go in and play some offensive snaps for sure. And then DB, you know, the Giants secondary struggled a little bit. Besides their
Yeah.
safeties, they definitely need that help, which he'll bring that for them. Then the Patriots. You have potentially your quarterback of the future in Drake May. Look promising. You get some wide receivers. The one thing that you do need though is bless you, is you need to
Thank
protect this man. So we're gonna go get him a left side tackle, Will Campbell out of LSU.
you. Yeah, good pick.
And you have to think too. Will Campbell went up against many of these star edge rushers
Hmm.
that are the top rushers in this draft for one, And then think about over the last couple of years of going against guys that have been drafted. So he's had plenty of experience with NFL talent, pass rush, and sees them multiple times a year too.
So everybody, and I kind of want to go that route. We were talking about today, how everyone has the Jaguars taking Mason Graham. Or I think maybe I was talking to you about that, or so. You were talking about players that seem like they're always. Oh, it was the what's it called? The Colts always taking Tyler Warren, and then I said that it seems like every single mock draft I see, the Jaguars are taking Mason Graham. That makes so much sense because that's probably their number one need on their team. Their defense look atrocious on top of how piss poor that team just has been a dumpster fire, and Trevor Lawrence has not hit the peak that we thought he did a couple years ago. But that being said, they lost a tight end in the offseason. We're going to give them Tyler Warren. We're going to make him a top 5 pick. Penn State tight end.
Look at you.
Just spice it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mock draft, so who gives a shit, right? Do whatever,
doesn't
man.
matter.
Honestly, I could see it too, just because Trevor Lawrence
He's
has
talented.
that contract. Your wide receivers have been up and down, and his favorite target has been Evan Ingram. I would, besides Calvin Ridley,
Yeah.
he's loved throwing the ball to Evan Ingram, and now you can have a guy to come in and run block to help you with that, and go out and catch the ball for you.
Oh, and they have Brian Thomas Jr. So
yeah,
and Travis Etienne receiving on the backfield. That gives him more options. And we are in 2 years of make it or break it mode for Trevor Lawrence. If they picked up this 5th-year option, which I don't know if they did. So
well, the other one too here is he has that contract. He has a long. He's making like $50 million a year.
That's right. They gave him money, didn't they?
They also have pick number 36, which, whenever that comes about, I mean, you could go and get a edge rusher, defensive player in that area too. So it's not like taking Tyler Warren is going to be a complete disaster dumpster fire for you.
Yeah.
Really. All right. So the Raiders. Let me go back here. Raiders could go a lot of different routes here. They basically need everything and anything.
Yeah.
Sanders would be smart. Would be a good. Who did they just sign? The Raiders signed Geno, right?
Yeah, Geno, but
you just signed him to a contract. So do you really want to waste a top 10 pick on a quarterback just to sit for the next 2 to 3 years? Like you could go draft a quarterback later, let him sit, and pay him cheaper money. The thing that they really did not have is a run game, and I think this is where Genty is going to go. I'm not as high on Genty being a top 10 pick as other people are. I think he played at Boise State, so things were a little bit easier for him compared to some of these other running backs. He's an athlete. He's a good athlete. I'm going to admit that. He is. But I think taking him this early is not a smart move. Any running back typically is not a smart move. But the Raiders are going to do it because they need that offensive ability, especially to give Geno Smith some help in that offense.
Nice. So now the Jets. Now the Jets, obviously, they had a nice signing with Justin Fields. Still have Breece Hall there. They kind of did a decent amount in the offseason after losing Rodgers. Now, the Jets could go 2 ways. Their offensive line did improve last year compared to the year before. It could get better. I was kind of thinking about someone like Membu. But I think we're going to go McMillan from Arizona and just give them a freak athlete on the outside. And this is Justin Fields' make it or break it, contract. He's got 2 years on this contract, see what he can do. And this might be his final stop in his NFL career. Unless he becomes his career stop as a starter in the NFL. So McMillan, we're going to go all in on this offense. So.
Yeah, I like that pick too. It's definitely one that I've thought about just because you have Garrett Wilson, and then who's your next best wide receiver? Alan Lazard. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you need to give Justin
They need
Fields some
help.
weapons. You have Brees Hall in the backfield, Braylon Allen. And like you said, their offense was better than last year. You could add to it, which again, it's a draft. You go and draft other players later to develop or play, but that yeah, I good luck. That'll be a fun time guarding because McMillan's a
Yes.
bigger target.
He reminds me of Larry Fitz too.
Yeah,
Good hands, smooth, fast. Not fast, but he's moving past people.
yeah. Carolina Panthers. So really need the defense. I think J.C. Horn just got a nice size contract this year. Their defense gave up a lot of passing yards, rushing yards, whatever. I think they're gonna go and get a guy that can play opposite of J.C. Horn and get Will Johnson. You're in a NFC where you have a lot of wide receiver duos, not just one guy anymore, and you need a guy that's going to be able to help you out. So J.C. Horn isn't doing it all. Will Johnson's a stud, played at Michigan, and he might be able to overtake J.C. Horn. Honestly, I think.
Will Johnson has better size than Travis Hunter. I don't think he's as good of an athlete, but he has really, really good technique.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be a very solid starter in the NFL for a long time. Pick 9. So interesting. The Saints are kind of in an interesting spot. They have an aging Derek Carr. They have, offense is kind of, and their defense is kind of, eh. They have a lot of aging stars going in and out. You just have a new offensive-minded head coach in Kellen Moore, and I think Kellen Moore is going to take the quarterback of future here, sit behind Derek Carr. I think they are going to take Shedeur Sanders, a guy that's pretty decent quarterback. Saints have a decent offensive line still to this day. Seems like they always do, and go in and build around him. Maybe grab a couple wide receivers later on in the draft and kind of build around this team. So,
yeah. I just don't like. I think Sanders shouldn't even be a top 10 pick, but what do I know? I'm just a guy, an average guy.
you're just a guy. I think Sanders will be a top 10 pick,
Yeah.
probably. I like Sanders, actually.
And I think it's probably a bigger market than the Browns, I would say. So instead of being in Cleveland, you're in New Orleans. Moving on to Chicago. Couple routes that you could have went. If McMillan was still here, I probably would have grabbed him just because Keenan Allen's gone, and just go get another big body. Get Caleb Williams all the help you can. Tyler Warren maybe even if he was falling this far. Even though you have Cole Kmet, get those double wide receivers. But we're gonna go with Membu, and we're gonna protect him. I feel like that's what they truly need to do. Help give him some more time, so he's not scrambling all the time. And this is his year. Sophomore year. Hopefully, he can have a better season than last year. And the one way to do that is protect him and keep him from scrambling for his life every play.
Membu at 10 is a damn good pick too.
Yeah, I mean,
I won't even lie.
Even if they went Kelvin Banks, I wouldn't complain going over. They're both solid tackles that you could take here. Membu is more of a right. I think he's more of a right tackle. So if you need the left, you could possibly try to switch him, but I don't remember who the Bears tackles are. So
yeah, I don't even know at this point. So many players have changed. A team like the Bears are so young, and they get someone in the draft, a late round pick or something like that, or take someone in free agency that was a second stringer, first stringer. Like that, it's hard with teams like the Bears because they're so young and they've gotten rid of so many players. Who knows even who's on that team right now?
Yeah.
Who's on the defense? The only person I know is Montez Sweat for sure. So
yeah.
The San Francisco 49ers. This is a team that is getting old. They're kind of in a rebuild type era. they have a lot of weaknesses. They just lost a receiver, but they did get Ricky Pearsall last year. Offensive line might need some work. I don't know how long Trent Williams is going to be in the NFL. So, you know what I mean? He's getting older, but I think that they are looking at this and they're looking at Mason Graham out of Michigan and thinking we are going to get a key interior lineman that could be a cornerstone for the next decade for us. So,
Yeah, and you lost your line. I mean, you could have went edge there. You
yeah.
lost Bosa. You have Bosa. You just lost Hargrave, Jonathan Hargrave. They traded him or something. Um,
Yeah. They lost
so
Hargrave. Didn't they lose what's his face too? Um, didn't they lose? They might have lost him a couple years ago. I can't think of his name. Armstead or something like that.
mhm. Yeah,
So
so you need that defensive line to give Bosa some help. And then you still have plenty of other things. Your offense, you lost a linebacker, you lost a safety. Going after that. Cowboys, I think their number one priority is we lost DeMarcus Lawrence. We got shit on by DeMarcus Lawrence. You have no idea what's going to happen with Michael Parsons because you're paying so much money to Dak and CD. Uh, and you need somebody kind of fairly cheap for now. Um, so we're going to go with, I think they're going to end up going with Jalen Walker at edge, opposite of Micah. Um, you lose a big guy like DeMarcus Lawrence on that outside edge, and you got to be able to find somebody to replace him. As much as I'd love to see Jalen Walker fall to the Eagles at 32, it's not going to happen and not realistic. So he's going to go to our rival and be a Cowboy.
yeah, and then he'll be like Micah Parsons and low key want to be a Cowboy or low key want to be an Eagle. Dolphins, another team that just needs help on the offensive line dramatically. I watched so much of Miami's games last year. I love what's his face? What's the running back? I can't think. 28. Achane. You know what I hate about being on the off season, Skinny? I can talk about these guys all through, and all through once we do our drafts and all through the NFL season. As soon as it's like 4 months out of it, the all the knowledge, the names just fucking pour out. Like I'm like, dude, I'm not seeing these guys' names every single day like I was. So it kind of just the knowledge pours out. But they need help. They need help on the offensive line badly. I watched it. Tua. That's the reason why Tua keeps getting hurt. That's the reason why the run game's so poor. It was also the reason why Devon Achane got like 1,000 receptions. So I did like that. But I think they're going to go with Calvin Banks right here. It's a number one priority coming out of this draft. They need to fix this offensive line. So
yeah, smart. Now you give me 14 with the Colts, where pretty much everybody had them taking taking
a tight end.
A tight end. Which I mean, you could go get.
You still could, yeah.
I just don't think he's that high up there to be picked yet. And even then, some tight end. There's some pretty decent tight ends fall like in that 45 areas. I'd say too. For me, you look at they lost Leonard a couple years ago. They who was their see again we're losing our minds.
Shaquille Leonard.
Yeah, lost him, and then last year they had a linebacker that was like top of the league, but I think he got hurt a couple times, so you lose some injury there. Linebacker is definitely something that they really need on that defense. They've got some decent DBs. They got a decent pass rush. So we're gonna go Jahad Campbell out of Bama and just give them another freak of a linebacker that's gonna suit them for the next 10 years.
Nice, that's a good pick. Okay. So the Falcons, another team, they got their quarterback of the future. They don't necessarily need weapons. They really hit in free agency last year with their pickup as their wide receiver 2, blanking on his name too. I should have a chart of who they picked up, but um, I think on offense they're good. Kyle Pitts is going to make or break a year. Obviously, their offensive line is decent. Their defense is lacking. They need help on that defense really badly. And honestly, here's a guy I was listening to the Marshall coach talk about this guy would start at Alabama. The only reason that he went to a small school like Marshall is because of his intangibles. He's got a good motor, and what he did against Ohio State was very impressive this year. I'm gonna go with Mike Green.
I like that pick. I watched some of his film because like it's Marshall. Didn't I watch a lot of football? Didn't watch a lot of Marshall football.
Yeah,
I was watching, dude. He's got a nasty spin move. Like
he does.
that spin move at first, like the first like couple like highlights they had of him, like getting to the rusher or getting to the passer, he just used his speed and went right by the tackles. But then at first I was like, okay, does he just have speed? Where's his moves? And they finally started incorporating his moves. And I didn't see no like hitting swims or anything. It was straight just fucking spin moves. It is
Mm-hmm.
nasty how fast his spin move is. Um,
And he's got a high motor too. I mean, he's someone
yeah,
that's going to keep going, keep going, keep going. That's what you want.
yeah, I was impressed with him. Um, I wouldn't be mad if he went over like Stewart Williams up with that. Just it was probably one of the nicest spin moves I've ever like one of those nice spin moves. One of the nicest
Yeah.
I've probably seen somebody has done as a defensive end in a while. I was very impressed. The Cardinals, they need some defensive help. I think with how heavy this defense really is in the first round, it's hard not to go defense. As much as you may want to go offensive for the Cardinals, just because outside of McBride and Harrison, they have decent second play. Their offensive line could definitely always be beefed up, but their pass rush was ass. Their DBs were ass. Um, so I'm gonna go Shamar Stewart, uh, for them. Get it. It all. If you've watched a lot of Eagles football like I have, you notice there's one thing that wins you games a lot, and it's your pass rush. Um,
Yeah.
your DBs could be slow, they could be average, whatever. If you have a good pass rush and forcing that quarterback to scramble or not feel comfortable in the pocket to throw the ball, you could have average to above average DBs. It don't matter. And the Cardinals need to focus on that pass rush, and that'll help them out a little bit, especially playing with teams that have high profile um, wide receivers in the NFL.
Yeah. No, you have to win in the trenches. It's been a key thing since I mean, really, I think I learned that you have to win in the trenches since watching the Peyton Manning take on the Seahawks. That first
Yeah.
Super Bowl where Manning was red hot and they just got smoked because they're getting blown up.
Hmm.
If you can get to the quarterback and you can get him off kilter, look what the Eagles did in the Super Bowl. They destroyed the Chiefs. They decrowned them. They were writing it off like it was a three-peat. You know what I mean? So
Six sacks, zero blitzes. That's how you win
exactly,
games.
they just destroyed them. Have to be able to protect your quarterback, and you have to be able to get to the quarterback. Two keys of winning. That being said, obviously the Bengals re-signed T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Offensively, I think that they're packed solid and do not need any help there. Where they do now need help is on the defensive side. So there is some interesting people here. I could go Mikael Williams from Georgia, who has, great size, played in, the SEC, like good pass rusher. But here's a guy that I really like and I think will be a very good starter in the NFL for a long time. His teammate, Malachi Starks.
I think like every mock draft I've had Malachi. It's either Malachi Starks or I'm taking like an edge rusher for him. So,
Yeah.
um,
I feel like it feels right.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's a
no,
solid safety. They
yeah.
haven't had
You
they need
lost.
help in the
What
secondary
was it?
everywhere, really, honestly.
Jesse Bates. What 3 years ago it's been now,
Mm-hmm.
going on 4, I think.
Yep.
haven't really had a good safety since. So, no, I agree.
No.
I like that. All right, Seahawks. You need a lot of offensive line help, and then you need defensive secondary. Really, the next best offensive lines down here at Josh Simmons. Could definitely take him. I think with you signing Sam Darnold, you kind of want to protect him. Uh,
Yeah.
but also at the same time, we talk about the defensive trenches are huge. And I just think Mikael Williams is going to be a way better NFL player than Josh Simmons. So we're going to go Mikael Williams at that edge to get that pass rush in the trenches. Uh, just like I was stating before, you win games that way. Uh, um, and the value of Mikael Williams is higher than reaching down here for not really reaching, but taking Josh Simmons over him.
Yeah. Last year was Texas's first year in the SEC, and I think they surprised a lot of people how good they were because I think people were not. It was their first year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going crazy? Yeah, because they went from the Big Ten or Pac-12, Pac-12, wherever.
The Big 12.
The Big 12. That's what it was. Big 12. Um, and part of that, their offense played really well with yours. It kind of was up and down, but this Buccaneers team needs help in the defense. Like literally all around. That defense is depleted. Baker Mayfield has been on fire. They re-signed Chris Godwin. Obviously, you have Mike Evans for a little while. Like this team is solid on offense. They have a young, talented running back. Offensive line's decent. Tight end, they're okay, but they need defensive help, and they could go anywhere on the board. But I'm going to say they're going to take a great defensive interior lineman in Derek Harmon from Oregon, which is dominating this year.
Going way down there. I almost thought that you'd be going DB for them, honestly. But no, I agree. As an Oregon fan, he's gonna fuck some shit up. So, and that's what the Bucks need some. Let's fuck some shit up in the middle. Uh, moving on to Denver, a lot of routes they could go to. They definitely need a running back after letting Williams go. Tight end, pretty high need too. You go and help Bo Nix. Cortland Sutton's getting older. You let Jerry Jeudy walk. Defense is their best thing. So their defense is going to be fantastic with what they have now from what their signings are in free agency. I think you're going to go and get Matthew Golden and give another option for a more reliable option for Bo Nix. Cortland Sutton's like 31, getting up there in age, and then those other guys just haven't been what you've truly needed for that. So at that wide receiver position, so I think you go get Golden and he'll step up for Bo Nix and be good for him there.
I agree. All right, Steelers. Steelers do not have a second round pick. We don't know what they're going to do at quarterback.
Yeah, they do have a third, I believe. So we just have the first and second, so can't see their third round pick.
I think that everything going on. Will Aaron Rodgers sign? Will he not sign? Will the Falcons trade him Kirk Cousins? Like this team, they went and got another wide receiver too. They're putting all their eggs in a basket. I think they're going to take Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. He's an athletic guy. He can make all the throws. He's riskier, I think, than the first two quarterbacks, but they need someone. They've really struggled since Big Ben hasn't been there. Obviously, who they've had hasn't been it. Russell Wilson was okay, didn't really do anything. They tried with Super Bowl winning quarterback. What's his face from Pitt? Can't think of his name. I could see his face. The Eagles Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Kenny
Kenny Pickett didn't work out. They need someone to hit, and I think they're going to take Jackson Dart, who's got a hell of an arm and going into a very good situation.
Yeah, could definitely see that. Um, Jalen Milrow, I'm just gonna bring up. He got invited to the draft, so something's up there. So maybe I don't know. I think as a passer, Jackson Dart's your better option, especially with the two wide receivers you have.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what this Jalen Milrow stuff is because if he's getting invited, there might how early is he going, um, and there's got to be talks. You just don't invite somebody just to invite somebody. Uh,
Yeah.
there's got to be some talks there. The Chargers, I'm not even going to get into it. Really, they need pass catchers. Uh, they lost some guys. You have Lad McConkey. Um, their tight ends kind of fallen off a little bit. And guess what? Their coach is from Michigan, formerly coached at Michigan. They're going to go grab Colston Loveland and give Justin Herbert a reliable pass catcher. Another good pass run protection. You got Najee in the backfield now. Um, there's no. The other option is to go defensive line and get Kenneth Grant. I just don't see the Chargers not drafting a Michigan player here at 22.
Yeah. No, I agree. It'd be a very good target for Justin Herbert. He needs it. I mean, last year you could tell the one weakness on that team was the pass catchers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's his face? The guy they drafted a couple years, Quentin Johnson.
I can't hear you.
They're still. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry, my cousin is trying to call me. But still work in progress. But I think that that they need someone to help out Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
So now the Packers, I think, are going to go for a pass catcher too. So their offensive line did really well. Their run game was pretty good, and their defense is okay. It needs some help as well, but I really think that they're going to give. Dude, I cannot think today at all. I feel so dumb. Packers quarterback Jordan Love. Jordan Love, an extra set of hands. I think we're going to go Luther Burden III out of Missouri. Dang. He kind of reminds me of a Stephon Diggs-esque player, so. Yeah. Have another gadget guy, someone else to throw to. I like Mbuke, but I just feel like he's really undersized. And
yeah, I mean, the Packers wide receivers have just been a roller coaster. One, what are you getting besides? I mean, Reed's probably been their better guy for him, but it's just so roller coaster with everybody else. What are you getting every day? Like what each game? Burden can definitely go and add that more consistency for him at that wide receiver position. Mm-hmm. All right, your Minnesota Vikings. They need a running back, but they're not going to draft a running back in the first round after signing Aaron Jones to a 2-year contract. That's just my opinion. They're going to wait to draft a running back. I just think if you're going to draft a running back in the first round, you better be giving them the ball quite often. So, Harrison Smith comes back for one final season. He's going to retire. You got to replace him, right? So we're going to go and get Nick Emmanwori to replace him out of South Carolina. One thing that I liked about him is he's basically kind of like a Harrison Smith already. He is not afraid to get down and dirty. He'll come blitz the quarterback. He'll come get in the trenches. His run stopping ability is very good. And he's not like one of those I'm going to go for the shoelaces and tackle you. He will put your body on you, on a running back, whatever, and will make a tackle. He literally looked like Harrison Smith watching him in those highlights and watching him play. So what better way to replace Harrison Smith than with a
Harrison Smith clone?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say clone, but yeah. Play style wise, yes.
Yeah. Indeed, we do need some help in the secondary. It'd be nice to get a running back, but we may trade up. You never know. We may trade back too. So you really don't know what you're going to do in the draft, especially with the Vikings. how they've done. It's way different than it used to be. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Um, the Texans pick number 25. Texans. What I think about the Texans last year, offensive line has not been that good. They also need another receiver. They lost Stephon Diggs, and what's his face is out for a while. Yeah, he is out for a while. I want to go offensive line. I would really usually. I feel like this is a Tyler Booker spot, but I might go Mbuke. Give him another offensive weapon. Are you there, Skinny?
Yeah, sorry. My shit's not like loading. I'm trying to scroll down to him.
Mbuke.
Amika
Mbuke.
Buka, Ohio State.
Mbuke. Yep. One of those guys that was overshadowed by a lot of great Ohio State wide receivers.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's going to be really good in the NFL too. And I've heard nothing but good things about him. That he's a very standout guy, and he runs good routes, plays hard. He's a little bit undersized to be on the outside. He might have to play inside, but that's okay. Tank Dell hurt. I mean, there's a lot of room to play inside, at least for a year. So then you can figure out what you're going to do after that.
Yeah. Rams. So there's two places that they got torched against the Eagles that we played them twice on. The run game and then the pass game. Their
Yep.
DBs were trash. You were going to get at pick 26 one of the steals, I'd say, in talent wise of the draft by getting Texas cornerback Jade Barron. Barron? Did I ever see your last name? At pick 26.
Jahad Barron.
They need the over the top help. And
yeah.
I don't watch many Rams games. They played the Eagles twice, so that's kind of what I'm going off of, but couldn't stop the run, and then Jalen Hurts was they were able to get the deep ball, big shots like that, and he's gonna be the guy to come in and definitely help prevent some of that. And they had guys dropping the ball. I don't think he's going to be dropping interceptions like what they were doing. So I think it's a big watching him fall to pick 26. Not as hype of the Cooper DeJean falling to the second round, but falling to the end of the first round I think is huge if he's there for him.
Yeah, no, I agree. Jahad Barron is a good pick, and the Rams do need help in the secondary, especially for such a young team. That'd be such a cornerstone because they really haven't had someone that's that good in the secondary since Jalen Ramsey, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, run game. That's the lifeline of this team. You need people to pass protect and run block to keep this offense going. Let's go Tyler Booker out of Alabama.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like they just lost a lineman too. I don't remember what position it was.
I think they did.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's smart. Go get that replaced. Then the Lions. I mean, I think they lost some offensive line. Could replace them with Grays the Ball out of North Dakota State. But their offense is just so packed. Good offensive line coach. Now your defense is what truly cost you your games. You're letting teams put up a lot of points, and like we've always talked about this whole time, you win in the trenches. I think they're going to go and get Kenneth Grant, go get another Michigan defensive lineman. If Aiden Hutchinson can come back, you'll be able to pair two Michigan boys together and make a heavy impact on getting that run stopping going.
Nice. Now, the Washington Commanders. They've been a pretty splashy team this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
They only had Terry McLaurin. They went out and made a trade with the San Francisco 49ers to get Debo. They've signed some players. Really a team that's probably was a team that did way better than everyone thought last year and really surprised. And trying to build themselves into a contender, which is kind of fun to watch. They need help on that defense. Like I said a couple years ago, that DB that they drafted the first year that we did it, I can't even think of his name. They got rid of him because he
Oh,
was. Yeah, I literally.
gosh. Why
I can't think of
why
his
do we
name.
do this to
He
ourselves?
was so.
He was like
So
160 pounds soaking wet.
yeah, I can't think of his name, but he was not good. He was not. He didn't even pan out.
Nope.
He was drafted after what's his face, the standout in Seattle.
Witherspoon.
Witherspoon, yeah. I can't think of his name, but not good. They need some help in the secondary. I think they're gonna go and draft the guy out of East Carolina, Siobhan Revel. Had a good year playing in a smaller, college football conference, but I mean they need help in that secondary. And I think that's going to be a guy that could help out right away because they're weak in the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
And St. Jude was terrible. That, like, to me, that might be their number one thing that they need is to upgrade that secondary in this draft.
Yeah, no, I agree. Buffalo Bills offense. You could always use more weapons for Josh Allen. Their offensive line's pretty decent, so don't really need to do anything there. Their defense, your line's getting older. Von Miller is not any younger. Gonna need to replace him here soon. Uh, so I'm just gonna get right to it. We're gonna take Texas A&M Nick Scorton. Um, him and Shamir Stewart were fiends together on that pass rush. I think he does get overshadowed a little bit by Stewart, but not by much. You're still a first round pick in my opinion with it. Um, and again, pass rush helps you win when you're in an AFC uh, game playing Lamar, playing Patty Mahomes, playing Justin Herbert, playing these top 10, top 5 caliber quarterbacks. You got to get to them. And they're you and Von Miller, like I said, is not getting any younger. So guy that can go opposite him, basically become his replacement. Learn from him even. That's going to be big for him. Buffalo Bills go and get Scorton.
Last year, the Chiefs' offensive line got embarrassed in the Super Bowl. And I think they're going to go out and take a guard out of North Dakota State, Greg Zabel. He's someone that has kind of climbed up draft boards, North Dakota State, the Alabama of whatever fucking conference they're in.
Oh, Zabel, where did he just go? I just had him. North Dakota State.
Yep.
Yeah, I have him getting drafted there too. Now, this is exactly what I wished happens in the draft.
Because you want James Pierce Jr.
Because there are so many options that the Eagles can go here. They always like to go offensive line, build that offensive line, keep it good. Could go get an offensive line, turn him guard for a little bit, who knows. But man, do I love some James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. Eagles need that. James Pierce Jr. coming to Philly is gonna be huge when his name is drafted. I am so excited if he falls that far.
I don't think he will.
He won't. Probably not, but I will be very excited. Otherwise, we'll probably draft another offensive tackle, and like Donovan Jackson or something. I don't know. I also wouldn't be mad about Trey Almos reaching him on cornerback a little bit with Darius Slay being a little bit older, and just have 3 young, solid DBs. But man, I would be excited if James Pierce. I'd be all giddy.
All right, pick 33. We're in the second round.
We got to speed up a little bit because I have to go get
my
kids.
Browns need a quarterback. They're going to go in. They're going to go swinging. They're going to take Josh Allen 2.0, and they're going to take a guy in their backyard, Will Howard.
Will Howard?
Yep, taking Will Howard.
You think they're taking Will Howard over Jalen Milroe? You're insane.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Well, if quarterbacks are gonna go, New York Giants got Travis Hunter. They got it. They're gonna go get their quarterback, Jalen Milroe, I guess, and let him develop behind Winston and Russell Wilson.
Gotta have fun with it, Skinny. Gotta have fun with it. All right. Tennessee Titans, pick 3. They got their quarterback of the future. Now they're looking at it. We need to throw an offensive weapon in with that guy. And they're going to take Jalen Knoll from Iowa State. Give him a young target. Go in. Make something happen. They already have what's his face on contract for a while. They're getting old on their with their weapons. D-Hop is out, I think.
Knoll over Higgins? That's crazy.
Taking Knoll.
Higgins is better, but it's Iowa State. They're probably teams are probably looking at Iowa State and they're like, "Oh, just grab the Iowa State guy," and then don't know which one. And
Iowa State skilled positions have been good though recently.
No, I think Higgins would probably get drafted before Knoll. But all right, let's see here. Jacksonville, you have made it to round 2. You got your tight end in the first, and then second, we're gonna go get Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, and we're going to protect Trevor Lawrence. Hopefully from those late slides.
Now, the Raiders are going to get their quarterback of the future too. And they're going to take Quinn Ewers out of Texas.
In the second round?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You're ridiculous. All right, Patriots are also going to take their quarterback of the... No, I'm joking. So we already went off to tackle with Will Campbell, not Will Howard. They could go some different routes here. But for the value coming into the second round, he's climbed the draft boards. We're going to take Omaron Hampton and become the replacement for Stevenson. Play alongside of him, replace him.
I think that's a good move. All right, the Bears. They got their offensive line.
39 and 41. So.
Yep. They're going to go in there, and they're going to take a steal of a guy, and they're going to take Trey Henderson.
Travion Heverson. Nice. Like that. Shadir Sanders, you got your quarterback of the future. You need some offensive tackle help now to not let him die like Derek Carr has. We're going to go draft Josh Connerly, offensive tackle, so Sanders doesn't die like Derek Carr.
Okay. And then the Bears' second pick. So I think we're good on offense. We do. I think we're good on offense after this. We've improved our offensive line in free agency. We got our offensive tackle for the future. We need a defensive player to really push home because we need someone to get to the quarterback besides Montez Sweat. And we're going to take Donovan Ezierker, I can't say that name, out of Boston College.
Solid
to help
pick.
Get to the pass.
Solid pick. All right. Jets went heavy with that offensive pass for Justin Fields. Now, again, I'm going to go and say we need to protect him, just like we need to protect all our quarterbacks, especially our young quarterbacks. We're going to go and get ourselves Ariante Essery out of Minnesota, offensive tackle.
Ariante Essery. Let me see this. Sorry, it's glitching.
No, you're good. You're good, homie.
This is a very underrated offensive line class, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are gonna be day one starters or get in there pretty fucking quick, I think.
All right, so the Niners. First round, we took Mason Graham. Help our defense. I think we need to keep helping our defense. Now let's see what we got here. I think we're gonna take Benjamin Morrison, cornerback out of Notre Dame,
Good pick.
and help that defense
Good
out.
pick. A lovely pick. All right, Cowboys went the edge. They do need some help at wide receiver. You got CD. Don't really have much after that. Could go offensive tackle, even though there's not really there. You could go offensive line. For me, they're going to go get Jaden Higgins, wide receiver 2 for him now, out of Iowa State.
The second best,
No,
allegedly.
he's the first best.
And the Colts. What do we do in the first round? We got the best linebacker in the draft. We're thinking, fuck, we might be screwed with quarterback, but we're going to have to just send her out. But we do need to protect our quarterback so he doesn't get hurt. We're going to take Donovan Jackson out of Ohio State.
The Ohio State University.
The Ohio State, especially because you lost all your interior linemen to the Minnesota Vikings. So
yeah, pretty much too. Falcons, you know, they could do a lot of things here, man. They're do whatever, but I think they need to go heavy on their defense. In their first 2 rounds at least. We're gonna go and get a guy that I think will be one of the best DBs out of the draft class and get Isaiah Ray Thomas out of Florida State. He was fun to watch. And you have him alongside what's his nuts in Atlanta. Their DB.
Yeah, they're
AJ
good
Terrell.
DB. AJ Terrell.
Yeah.
So in the first round, the Arizona Cardinals took Shamar Stewart.
Yeah.
Yep. And you know what? Second round, we're going to get our quarterback some help because we are weak. Besides having Marvin Harrison Jr., we're going to take Trey Harris out of Ole Miss.
Damn. Going way down there. I think these edge rushers are too hard to pass up. I think this defense is so fucking good. A lot of this is hard to pass up. Yeah, Miami, where I was gonna go, they protected Tua. They need some defensive end help there. We're gonna go Trey Amos out of Mississippi. Out of Mississippy.
Trey Amos. Good pick. All right. So we took a DB in Malachi Starks in the first round. We are going to go and we are going to help our interior defensive line now with the Bongles and take Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss.
Nice. Saints have picks, or the Seahawks have picks 50 and 52. So they have a lot of different things here. We already went edge. Could do what the Eagles did and go back-to-back DBs and get edge picks because I think there's some pretty good edge picks here. But one thing that the Seahawks don't have really that has not been good is a tight end. So we're going to take Mason Taylor out of LSU. They definitely need. I know you have Njigba and Cup, but your tight end play has not been spectacular over the years.
No.
And I think Mason Taylor can come help with that out significantly for him.
The Broncos. Who did the Broncos take in the first round?
Matthew Golden, wide receiver.
Matthew Golden. You know, Sean Payton needs his running back of the future. He's been waiting. He's looking at this. He's ecstatic that he's got Caleb Johnson up there.
Caleb Johnson, hell yeah, that would be nice. Go get some more Iowa boys for that team. All right, Seahawks are back up again. Already went edge, just went tight end 2 picks ago. We are going to go and get another defensive line player to help them with that interior there, and we're going to get Darius Alexander out of Toledo.
Which offensive line? Darius Alexander?
Defensive line.
Oh, defensive line. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Our things are not the same. I don't think our players are the same.
Yeah,
Like it's
probably
different rated.
probably not.
Okay. Which kind of makes it fun because then you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. The Bucks first round took a defensive player in Harmon. They're gonna come in and they're like, "Ooh, we need a safety." They're gonna take Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame.
Very good pick. All right. Uh, Green Bay comes in. They got a wide receiver. We're gonna go defensive this time. They need some DB help. They signed. I mean, they had the best, probably one of the best safeties in the league last year, but their DBs weren't anything spectacular. So they're gonna get Maxwell Hairston out of Kentucky, help with that defensive back problem that they are facing.
The Chargers are sitting here and they're ecstatic because they're looking at the board and they're like, "We have Talik Williams sitting here from Ohio State. Great interior defensive lineman," and they're gonna be like, "Wow, we're taking him."
They're looking at this draft board. It's like Ohio State, Arkansas, Ohio State, Ohio State, Ohio State. They're like, all right, keeping it Big Ten family, baby. Talik Williams, Buffalo 56. They got picks 56 and 62. Already went a edge on this one. But what they really need is I think they do need some DB help. So we're gonna go and get Darian Porter out of Iowa State. Very good Darian Porter. Speedy Darian Porter.
The speediest Darian Porter. Nice, nice, nice. So, what are we taking the first round for the Panthers? We took Will Johnson out of Michigan.
Yes.
So we think we're good on secondary. We're sitting there thinking, we need to help this defense out because it's been a very bad part of our team. Brought us down. We're feeling pretty good about our quarterback situation. We have the Red Rocket, and we still got Bryce Young. And Bryce Young looked a lot better after he's benched. We're going to go in, and we are going to take London Jackson from Arkansas.
Standout Landon Jackson at the combine from Arkansas.
Yes, standout.
That dude looked like an animal. If he doesn't, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked to see him go earlier, just based off of what he did.
His combine.
Yeah. So the elephant in the room, went wide receiver first round. You're in a position here where it kind of sucks on the offensive line position because there's not really any tackles available unless you want to really reach some picks. You're better off going defensive here. But they have an old Joe Mixon. He's older. He had a good season last year, but you can't let him keep getting used and abused like he did last year. So they're going to bring in a guy that's going to be better than Dameon Pierce, better than all these other ones, and they're going to draft Keyshawn Junkins and get him a solid number 2 backup so Joe Mixon doesn't die.
Even though I thought you were going to do that.
What?
I thought you were going to do that.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, took an offensive line in the first round. Defense is what we need to work on now for the Ravens. We're going to take JT Tuimoloau from the Ohio State University. Help out this defense.
Nice. There's one thing that the Detroit Lions love. They love Big Ten, and they love white boys. So we're going to go and sign edge Ohio State Jack Sawyer.
Jack Sawyer.
Yeah, Ohio State.
I don't even see him on here. Maybe he's under linebacker, not edge.
Yeah, maybe, probably. Very well could be.
I don't even see his name, Skinny.
Oh, well, Jack Sawyer. Just go find some random, 80, 90 position and just put him in there. Don't matter. I got the official one. All right.
Jack. Okay. Oh, here's Jack. So yeah, he was. You know what he is on this one?
What?
184.
Oh, dang. That's really low.
Okay. Jack Sawyer, edge, just the best. So we're really, really, really hitting them here. Okay, so first round, what did we take?
DB.
I forget who we did.
DB.
DB
Siobhan Revel Jr.
for the Washington Commanders. So we got a DB. We're replacing the shitty DB that we shouldn't have drafted in the first place. I think it's time for Carson Swearinger from UCLA, dude. They're gonna go get a cornerstone on their defense.
Why did I think you were gonna go down here and take like Isaiah Bond or something? Wide receiver. I don't know. I felt like there's a different route here. All right, so we just took an edge and we just took Darian Porter. We're for the Bills. We're gonna come in and get Josh Allen some more help at wide receiver. Go get Alec Ayomanor from Stanford, wide receiver.
He's gonna go off, dude.
Yeah, I mean at this rate, anybody can go off
and
on
then,
the team.
And then the Chiefs. That's true. That is true. The Chiefs. We took a guard. We need some help in so many different areas. We are going to take Princely Amukamellon from Ole Miss.
Amukamellon. Oh man.
We are not professionals, folks.
Philadelphia comes into round 2. There's talks that we're gonna get Dallas Goedert's been injured prone. Might trade him. We're gonna come in and we're gonna draft tight end Elijah Arroyo from Miami.
Elijah Minoru.
Yeah,
I guess it doesn't even matter if I put that on there.
Yeah.
And that is it, folks.
Yeah, that was
a terrible mock draft.
It was a great mock draft. I don't know what you mean. I love every other. Next time we'll have you all go first, and then you go second, and then things we'll pick a little bit differently. So each mock's going to be different. I mean, there's like Cam Ward, number 1 overall, is probably going to happen every time. But there's going to be some differences that we have.
It'll be fun if we do.
Thanks for anybody that joined. I have to get going because I got to go get my kids from daycare. But thanks. We'll do another mock probably next week at some point, and then I might do some just by myself, just since I don't have to wait for you to do them, and we will go from there, and we'll